see, in all of these cases, she'll have a justification for why she did it. And that's, some people have that angel on that devil on their shoulder. Some people have the angel on the other one. And some people have their earmuff on, or they have their AirPod on this side. And they leave their other one open so they can hear from the devil all the time. Or some people just pump the devil into their ears through their music. The devil doesn't really have to tell you what to do and what not to do. All the devil has to do is just to encourage you to do the things that you want to do. Anybody ever sit there and been like, oh man, I gotta do this evil thing. I gotta do this thing that I know is wrong. Oh man, it's so hard being evil. Anybody ever struggled to do the right thing? Anybody ever kick yourself because you don't, I gotta return this wallet, but I could use the money. Oh, I gotta do the honest thing, even though it's gonna cost me, an F. We struggle to do the good things, the good that we wish to do. The evil we just kind of do naturally, without even thinking about it. And then after we do it, we can explain it away. It's cuz. And of course we don't like hearing that, because we always think that we have all the justifications and that the whole world is supposed to bend to our will and that we're just eternally right, whereas everybody else is a liar but not me, and everybody else is cheating but not me, and if I am, it's cuz. Never underestimate our ability to rationalize anything. As long as you can keep that in mind. When people ask, are you ever disappointed in people? Not disappointed, because what else did you expect if you know what the person is about? You know what they are. The devil to get you to do something, if we're talking about a literal devil here, the devil, all he has to do to get you to do something is just to give you an opportunity. It isn't about chronology, it's about the action itself. It's kind of like stealing. Like you steal from somebody who stole from you, you're still stealing. Yeah. It's important, I think, for us to think about it that way, to think about the actions itself, not for the justifications, because if there's one thing you can bet on with people is that you can never underestimate our ability to rationalize anything. We can rationalize anything. For my 10th graders, I gave them an assignment. I let them choose between 3 different types of assignments. One of them was to make, we read a series of short stories, but each of the short stories has a vague ending. It's not really clear how it ends. I gave them the option, they could either write a conclusion to it, like one paragraph or whatever, tell me how the story ends, what is not in the text. Another one was to make a video, acting out the story, or whatever, so a combination of these two. Half of the stories I got that were written out were just chat GPT'd. They were just AI written. And if you know about large language modeling, it's pretty easy to notice it. One person even used it and then went back and tried to change things to make it sound dumber so that I would believe he wrote it. And when he came in, he saw that his score was a -10, and he comes over and he goes, why do I have a -10 on the assignment? And I just turn my head and look at him. And he goes, oh. I didn't have to tell him why. And he goes, well, it's because, and by the way, if you begin your sentence with it's because, you're wrong. You're wrong about it. Well, it's because, I wrote it, but then I was having trouble with it. So yeah. Never underestimate the human mind's ability to rationalize anything. It's okay to cheat if I'm having difficulty with something. If it's not easy, I can't be expected to do it if it's easy, unless it's easy, right? Yeah, so it's okay to run a marathon, but if you can't run a whole marathon, because let's face it, that's pretty long. So it's okay to jump on a bus and ride half of it, right? It's because I was tired. It's because. You can never underestimate our ability to rationalize anything. I cheated on you because you cheated on me first. Well, and you still compromised your integrity, didn't you? Well, yeah. Well, it's because I stole from you because you stole from me. Yeah, but you still stole. But yeah, but it's because you stole from me first. I was just writing the universe. Yeah. So it never ceases to get my head going with people who believe in karma, and they get, somebody wrongs them, and then they say, but you know what? It's okay because karma's gonna get them back. I always wonder, well, what did you do wrong in the first place, such that karma harmed you? Because if someone stole from you, but don't worry, karma's gonna get them back. Well, maybe that person stole from you because you must have done something terrible, right? That's why they stole from you, because of karma. So maybe they won't get back. Maybe that was just karma's instrument to get you even. Well, no, that's different. It's always different. It's always different. And that's one thing that devil on your shoulder is always going to be whispering into your ear. It's different because, it's because you can do this. It's because of this. And I was thinking back to at my gym, there's different tournaments and they have different like weight classes and things. They're generally the same, but there's one tournament where it's just the Wild West, man. You're supposed to go in when you're going to compete. Most tournaments you go in the morning and then you weigh in, and after you weigh in, like you may weigh in at like 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and then you may not even compete until like 6 o'clock at night. So you can weigh in like at 150 pounds at 8 a.m., but literally by the time you compete like at 6 p.m., you could be 160, 170 pounds. You could eat and hydrate. You're way heavier than you were. There's one tournament I'm thinking of where they actually let you weigh in at your gym. You just go to your own gym, get on the scale, and then you just message them and tell them what your weight is on your honor. So I'm thinking of this one person who was at my gym who went and did that, and she was 20 pounds over what she was supposed to be at. That's, for what we do, that's 2 weight classes above. And then she goes in, and of course she smashes the person who she was up against, and she's all celebrating like that meme, where you're sitting there with the champagne, you're celebrating. And I remember watching her, I'm thinking, yeah, because you're 170 pounds, and the person you went up against, she was at the bottom of that weight class. She reported being 30 pounds lighter than that. So you went in, you basically beat up a kid. 30 pounds when you're only 100. That's quite a bit of weight in that difference right there. Now, why did you do that? Well, it's because she was gonna. One of our other people got injured, so she was stepping in to that place to go compete on her behalf because our other person got hurt. So it's because she wasn't even planning on competing. Well, then you just don't do it, because the other person who worked hard, trained, got ready, was just, and there are only 2 of them in the division. That person just got screwed over. Now the tournament doesn't care because they get that if the fight happens, they get their money from both people. But the person who was doing this, she literally said, well, it's cuz. By the way, we're talking about earlier I said the one evil person. No, it's the same person. Same person in both those cases. And you see, in all of these cases, she'll have a justification for why she did it. And that's, some people have that angel on that devil on their shoulder. Some people have the angel on the other one. And some people have their earmuff on, or they have their AirPod on this side. And they leave their other one open so they can hear from the devil all the time. Or some people just pump the devil into their ears through their music. The devil doesn't really have to tell you what to do and what not to do. All the devil has to do is just to encourage you to do the things that you want to do. Do you ever notice how anybody ever sit there and been like, oh man, I gotta do this evil thing. I gotta do this thing that I know is wrong. Oh man, it's so hard being evil. Anybody ever struggle to do the right thing? Anybody ever kick yourself because you don't, I gotta return this wallet, but I could use the money. Oh, I gotta do the honest thing, even though it's gonna cost me, an F. We struggle to do the good things, the good that we wish to do. The evil we just kind of do naturally, without even thinking about it. And then after we do it, we can explain it away. It's cuz. And of course we don't like hearing that, because we always think that we have all the justifications and that the whole world is supposed to bend to our will and that we're just eternally right, whereas everybody else is a liar but not me, and everybody else is cheating but not me, and if I am, it's cuz. You never underestimate our ability to rationalize anything. As long as you can keep that in mind, when people ask, are you ever disappointed in people? Not disappointed, because what else did you expect if you know what the person is about? You know what they are. But the devil to get you to do something, if we're talking about a literal devil here, the devil, all he has to do to get you to do something is just to give you an opportunity. I guess I can put it this way. You guys have heard of Gandhi before? Gandhi? Yeah. Man of peace, yeah. Outstanding character in human history. Someone we should all admire and look up to. So, he used to test himself, his personal will. He would sleep naked in bed with 12-year-olds just to test his will, to prove he could be a holy man. if you put a plate of dog shit in front of me, and you give me a fork, even if you put salt on it and pepper on it and said, all right, Scott, I'm gonna test your willpower. Don't eat this plate of shit. Am I tempted to eat that plate of shit? No, that's not really a temptation for me. I'm like, yeah, dude, done. I'm not tempted at all. If you consider sleeping in the bed with your 12-year-old cousin naked as a temptation, I feel like there's something inside of you, you know? And that's one of those little things that we don't talk about with Gandhi. Just like Gandhi was like a raging racist, one of the things that Gandhi was upset about was that, if you can believe this, he was so angry at the British because the British treated the Indians like they were black people. Can you imagine that? Yeah, that's why he was so mad at the British. He's like, dude, we're not Africans. Come on, we're actually human beings, not them. Gandhi was a raging racist, man. But we don't talk about that. We always talk about Gandhi as like, oh, he was so full of peace and love. Yeah, asterisk for certain people, not everybody else. Yeah, exactly. 100% what I was thinking. Sounds just like Omar, right? But we don't talk about those other parts of him. My point is that if something like that is a temptation, that's because there's something inside of you that's sick and predisposed towards that activity. You know, I don't know. Are you guys ever tempted to eat carrots, but you have to resist because you know you should be reaching for the Snickers bars instead? Yeah, it only ever happens in the opposite direction. And that tells us something as humans about our natures, perhaps, about our wills. And yes, you can eventually kind of modify your nature so that you enjoy doing good and you abhor doing evil, but that takes work. That only comes on the other side of effort. Naturally, this is what we do. If anybody ever doubts this, just go babysit some toddlers sometime, and you'll find out that the evil thing is the one that we tend towards. And the devil doesn't have to appear in front of you and force you and say, go do this terrible thing. No, the devil just has to sit on your shoulder and be like, look at that Snickers bar. Dope, right? Looks good. And you agree with it. He's not trying to convince you to do anything. All he's got to do is give you the opportunity. And that's the way that a lot of people are. You don't have to be convinced to do evil. We don't have to be convinced to do evil. We just have to have the opportunity to do it. But the good that we do, that takes a lot of effort, man. And that should tell us something about ourselves. It should also tell us something about everybody else, that we're all of the same nature. And so our nature is something that we have to constantly combat. We have to constantly be vigilant against. I wrote up here on the board, temptation versus a test. I was thinking about it because we mentioned a temptation earlier, and I was wondering, what's the difference between a temptation and a test? A temptation is designed to break you down. Temptation is designed to get you to do something that is bad for you. And as I oftentimes say, I have incredible willpower. The only thing I cannot resist is temptation. A test, however, is designed to make you stronger. So if you're ever sitting there asking yourself, like, why am I being tested like this? Because tests make you stronger. Tests make you better. Temptations are designed to prey on your weakness. The things that you don't really want to do and you know you shouldn't be doing, temptation is the thing that takes you in those directions. So if you're ever sitting there wondering, I wonder what's going on in my life, ask yourself, am I being tempted to do something that I shouldn't be doing? Or am I being tested, something that's going to make me stronger, to resolve my will? Maybe you're being tempted to stay home and not go for that jog, not go for that run. But that's also a test. If you overcome that temptation, it makes you stronger. And of course, if you fail the temptation, then it makes you, or if you fail the test and you fall to temptation, it makes you weaker. And I mean that in every area. You find yourself tempted to do something wrong, so you do it. Well, now you're vulnerable because you've done something now that people can find out about. You lie. Oh, now you're even weaker because now someone could find out about the lie. So you have to lie to cover up your lies. And if someone finds out about your lies, well, they can't believe anything you say. Your whole character is now compromised. And as I said before, this is why I don't trust weak people, because weak people have to lie. It's their only means of self-defense. Strong people have to tell the truth. Strong people become strong because they overcome, because they pass the tests. They don't give in to temptation. And so, if the devil shows up to you and tells you, hey, go do this thing, you probably resist it. But if the devil doesn't show himself and just kind of presents an opportunity and you think it comes from you, it does come from you actually, well then that's all he has to do. Not to get you to do the wrong thing, you just got to stop you from doing the right thing. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Dope. Happy Thursday.